Good evening, everyone. I believe you are all doing fine. As you can see, I'm doing better. We are going to continue with our conversation, which we started from last week. Those who were fortunate to join us for our last week's discussion, we discussed the Brotherhood Vocation in the church, specifically in Ghana. We were educated on who a religious brother is and their various roles performed in the church. We are continuing from where we left last week. Do well to join us on Facebook, Cafdil Cape Coast, YouTube, Cafdil Edu. Let us have your comments, any questions you need clarifications on. Send them on the social media platforms or on our WhatsApp number, which is rolling on your screens. I have with me Brother Aaron, who is a brother FIC, Brother Aristide, who is a Holy Cross brother, and Brother Michael, who is a married brother. Last week they introduced themselves for us. Today I've done it for them. So we are going to continue with our discussion. Brother Mike, when you come to Ghana, there is a pomp with priesthood. Everybody wants to be a priest. Every young man wants to be a priest, or they have the desire to be a priest. Why should any young man desire to be a brother?
Thank you very much, sister. And I will start with my own experience. For my parish, when I had developed the desire to become a religious, I shared with my parish priest, and he asked me, why do you want to become a religious? Why don't you become a priest? So he shared a story that there was a woman who sponsored a young man in the seminary, not knowing that that young man is becoming a brother. So at the end, the woman was expecting that the person should come out and celebrate Mass. At the end, the man said, oh, no, I can't celebrate Mass. I'm a religious, or I'm a brother. So it seems on the face of that woman there was a disappointment. In Ghana here now, it seems priest vocation has been on the top. I say when you become a priest, you're everything. But religious life, as my brothers we mentioned last week, becoming a brother is bearing the witness, gospel witness, living like Christ. Because Christ himself was living among the people and bearing that witness, the gospel plan. In our Ghana now, as we have, it's very difficult to convince a young man to join a religious life because they feel like as a privilege, you can be seen by everybody. Brothers, we are always at this background, as we said, as brother explained last week, they are crossed as Joseph at the background. So it becomes kind of very difficult. But I am convinced, me taking that particular vocation to at least try to convince a young man to join us, I would say a brotherhood is a vocation given to us by God himself to bear that witness, to live the life which when we go to heaven, we will live. Because in heaven, as we said, we will all be brothers, we all live as a community, we all live as one another, live among ourselves and be together. So that kind of witness is what I think, to me, convinced me to become a brother. And that is what I will proclaim or try to give it out to the young men. It's not about ministering or that matter of ordination, celebrating Mass. It's about your life after the Mass. And that's what brotherhood is all about. It's after Mass. What happens? What goes on? Giving your life totally for others. Being with them. Guiding them. Being that presence among the people, which is the life Christ gave to us. That is the witness. That's the gospel value Christ gave to us. Be brothers to each other, because you have only one Father, which is what? God. So as a brother, we are brothers to all. So if you want to live actually the gospel, to be a good Christian, or to be kind of take a step of the baptismal promises, I prefer that young men should go in for the brotherhood, because that is the one ordained by Christ himself to be like Christ-like. As a brother, you are like Christ, in the form of Christ, caring for people, being among them and living among them, doing things like them. I think my brothers will have something to add on that.
When I finished high school and I had the opportunity to become a religious, the very question that I asked myself was, what do I want to do with my life? And one of the things that I kind of meditated upon was to be a happy person. The other thing was to be a unique person. I wanted to do something that was not common. I should use that word or phrase. And I found the brother's life as one of the means by which a person could be unique in society. I would say that I wanted to live an ordinary life in an extraordinary way. And I found Holy Cross Brothers to be one of the ways in which I could live that life. Whether I wanted to journey with younger people, whether I wanted to be a teacher, the extreme thing that I wanted to do was my life has to be called into question. Who are you? No one is going to ask a priest who he is. But when they see me, they will ask me, who am I? Who is a brother? And that alone, that question alone, resonated a lot of things in me. And this is funny, but Jesus Christ was a brother for 33 years. The institution of the priesthood was only instituted the night before he died. So you look at the number of years that he stayed on earth and the institution of that is it. I wanted to live a life that calls to question an ordinary life in an extraordinary way. And if you want to do that, that is the gift of the brotherhood.
Yeah, the world changes. And I must say, from the beginning, consecrated life or the brotherhood was a visible sign in those days. Priesthood was not seen. Trends have changed. And today, young men, everybody discerning to respond to God's call, want to be a priest. The brotherhood is not much known. And I must say, it's not our fault. And as we explained already, we are St. Joseph's. The priesthood, let me say, if you go to some parishes in Ghana here, you can find the brothers' congregation. I use myself as an example. When I was growing up in my small village called Nawe in the Upper West region, I don't know who a brother was. The only person I know is a priest. So, and I became a mass servant. My aspirant, being an aspirant, I was aspiring to be a priest. So my desire was to become a priest. I don't know who was a brother until I went to my secondary school in the capital of Upper West, Wa, where I was schooling. There was a brother there. I saw the lifestyle of this brother, the way he does things inspired me. And who is he? And they say he's a brother. I said, what is brother? And who is a brother? I don't know who. That they are people who are living somewhere, and they showed me their place. I want to see where they are. Now, this is one of the young men don't know much about the brotherhood in the church. If you go to some parishes, the brothers, we are few in Ghana, as we mentioned, we are not up to 10 congregations. And even these few congregations existing in Ghana here, we cannot cover all the parishes to let people know. But now, anywhere you go, there is a parish and there's a priest there. So the idea of a priest is clear, but the brotherhood is not clear. Unless where we make impact. And I'm sure in Cape Coast here, if you talk about brothers, they know they are referring to the Holy Cross brothers. If you come to Upper West, and when you say brothers, they know them, FIC. So where we are, we make impact. People know what we do. So the young men desiring to be priests, I may say, is about the exposition. It's about the presence of that people. If you come to Upper West, we are many brothers, young men. Many want to become brothers than being a priest. Not that one is superior than the other, but the impact that we made, they feel that to be a brother, that is where I will find fulfillment. To be a brother, that is where I can touch directly the lives of the people and to address the needs of this present world. And I must say, this is the time we need to come out and embrace the brotherhood vocation in the church. to address the numerous problems, challenges in this world. Because we are the people consecrated to get close to the people and address their needs. That is the people we are. So young men who are desiring to become priests, maybe, as I said, the trend has changed. They want fame. They want to be seen by people. And as a brother, we communicate a lot to the church. Just that they don't see the importance of what we do. When we go to church, we don't climb the altar or the sanctuary. We sit with the people, and we are all brothers. As I quoted Matthew chapter 23, verse 8, we are all brothers. So we are called, we are lay faithful. We are responding to deepen our evangelical counsels. So therefore, we associate ourselves with the people, and associating yourselves with the people, then you understand them better and you address their needs. So it is, as I already mentioned last week, the priesthood. Even those congregations that establish the priesthood or the priests to administer the sacrament, they realize that the evangelization is not complete. It is not about celebrating the mass, but we need to get close to the people, and there they need a brother. And the brothers, we are the people after mass. They say, go in peace and proclaim the word. How do you proclaim the word after mass? As my brother already shared, after mass, what do we do? And we are the people that try to live out this sign to the church, that as brothers, as consecrated men, we are for the people. So young men, I will encourage you, the brotherhood in the church is the vocation that you will live and still practice your profession. I am a brother, but I'm a professional teacher. So in the brother vocation, whatever profession you have, or if you come in without a profession, the congregation will train you to have a profession that you will work. So in short, maybe the young men these days, the priesthood, yes, we need the priesthood. But if we all go the same direction, one day, the other aspect of the evangelization as a church will be lacking. The healing ministry will be lacking. The social work, like caring for the street children, caring for the orphans, those who are less privileged, the voiceless, there will not be anybody to care for them. As my brother mentioned last week, who goes to the prison to visit those in the prison, the inmates? The sick, who are lying home, nobody cares for them. Who give them that Christ love? Mother Teresa said something. Whatever you do it with love. So we come out to give this love to God's images. And that is why we don't say the work of a brother is work. We call it apostolate. We call it apostolate because whatever we do, we attach love, we attach quality. So we don't see the people we work with as the ordinary people. We see them as images of God. So in fact, the brother shows a lot of signs to the church. And as I said, we are the living presence of Christ on earth here.
Now the big question, what is the process to become a brother, Brother Aristide?
Each congregation has its own formation program. And basically, when we are talking about formation program, we are talking about the stages that a candidate or a person who has established interest in becoming a brother can follow to become a brother. And in Holy Cross, we have three various or stages of formation that each person has to go through. The first stages of formation will have to do with initial formation, where we keep young men who are interested in our formation house for some number of years, depending on your strength, because it also deals with studying something about the Catholic Church, studying something about the congregation you want to join. So that initial years, we call it the candidate years or the juniorate years, where a year or two or three, a person will stay in our formation house. And after that year, the person applies to go to the novitiate. The novitiate is where the person gets to learn so much about the congregation which he wants to join. If you want to join Holy Cross, that is where you learn our constitution. That is where you learn our spirituality. That is where you learn so much about the congregation and the founders of that congregation which you want to join. We will also help you to shape your life, because you're coming to live with a group of people who have certain charism, who have certain information, who have certain way of life. And it is the novitiate that helps you to do that. After the novitiate, that is where you take your first vows. The first vows doesn't mean there is a second vow or something of that. So the first vows or the initial vows helps you to know that now you are part of a community that are brothers. And this is what they do, and this is how we want you to live your life. Because the life of a brother is surrounded by his ministry or profession, that is where, after the first vows, the individual is either sent to a formation house or sent to a place where he can learn the profession that he wants to use to serve the people of God. And therefore, if you have to go to school to learn how to be a teacher, if you want to go to school to learn psychology, if you want to go to school to learn any other course that will help you, if you're a carpenter or if you want to be in the technical field, we use that as a yardstick to be able to help the individual to acquire that kind of skill he's going to use to serve the people of God, because your life is centered around your profession. And then after that, a number of years, before 9 years or 10 years, a person is finally incorporated into the community where you live your life. So these are the 3 stages for Holy Cross Brothers. You start with the initial formation, where we have the candidacy or the generate program. After your first vows, after the novitiate, you go into a skill or learning a skill or profession, either by going to school or any trading. And then from that, we enter into the final vow preparation, where you become finally incorporated and you minister. Because it is through the ministry or through the apostolate that you get involved with the people of God and liberates them, as Brother Aaron is saying.
Okay. Marist.
Yeah, so for Marist, we have what we call the aspirancy stage. That lasts for 1 year, whereby you have encounter with the vocation director. He tried to help you to understand that call that you felt being called to live the brotherhood. So for 1 year at least, at the end you apply if you want to begin. Okay. So you enter into apostolancy, whereby you learn a bit about ourselves, and you are still journeying, searching to be certain, and you spend about 2 years in that stage. From then you move to our novitiate. As Brother Aristide has mentioned, the novitiate is a stage where you study about our constitutions and more about us, who we are and what we do. So at the end of the novitiate, which is 2 years, you make your first religious profession. So that vow, as Brother Aristide mentioned, is to help you to now to understand that you now belong to a religious congregation and to live your life. And after the novitiate, we have a scholasticate. For we Marists, we are teaching brothers. We work in schools. So we have to be taken to a university to learn a professional study in academics and other stuff. So you'll be there for 4 years. And aside that, as I mentioned last week, we are also catechists. So you also have to do religious education. That's religious studies for 3 years with the professional, so that you come out with these 2 certificates. Okay. So after that, you come back to the community to stay for 2 years to study, if actually you are still called to live the life. And at the end, you will now call in to make your final vows, if you are not certain that you want to join us. And after that, you make your final commitment, and you become a full member of the congregation.
Okay. FIC.
Yes, I think basically these are the stages of formation laid down for all religious. It's not different from what my brothers have said. For FIC, we have the aspirancy stage. That is the stage that you want to discern your vocation. If you are desiring to be a brother, you aspire with us. And that is a period we get you to understand who are the FIC brothers, what we do. If you feel that that is where your interest is, then you go ahead to apply and then you start the postulancy. Postulancy, we have 1 year for formation, 1 year in postulancy, and then you move to novitiate. The novitiate too is 1 year. We call it a canonical year. It's compulsory everybody to become a brother. You must go through the novitiate. It's a year of prayer. Some congregations will go 2 years, but you must go through the novitiate. So after the novitiates, you go to what we call the apostolic year in FIC. Apostolic year, you take a studies, that is other theological courses about the church. You know more about the church, and then you also know more about the congregation. So that is basically, as my brother said, these are the laid down stages in formation. But let me chip in. We call it formation. As we have been sharing, the brother is who we are. Now, to be a priest, we know we go to seminary to learn theology, philosophy, and then all that. For a brother, they say we only go for 3 years. But if you check, our stages of formation is also the same thing as a priest. 9 years or 10 years. It's not that because we have the initial formation for 3 years and come out and you are brothers, that means that our formation is ended. No, it's also 9 to 10 years. A religious brother, if you want to become a brother, you go through the initial formation, that is 3 years. And after the 3 years, you are a brother, you are given the logo or the habits, and you are a full member of the congregation. But that does not mean that your formation ends there. We have what we call continuous formation. So, and that lasts from 6 years to, after your, this is 6 to 9. Canonically, you cannot exceed 10 years as a brother. There are two things. If you get to 10 years, then either you resign or you will not make your vow, if there is something. But a religious brother cannot exceed 10 years. So in the formation, we also do 9 years. Just that after 3 years, we come out and start living the life. Unlike the priest who stay in a seminary, learn the theology, the philosophy, and all the GGs, and then come out to celebrate Mass. It is important for them because you need to be challenged. In philosophy, you need to be challenged. There is no God. And in theology, you understand that God. And you need to know more about it. So the brotherhood is not like that. We have 3 years initial formation, and then we have continuous formation lasting about 9 years. And together is 9 years or 10 years. And we be a full member of the congregation, which we take the final vow. Thank you.
So one of the things that we have not mentioned that I think is very key during my time as the vocations director is young men who want to join any of our congregations here, you have to be a person who is academically good. Mm-hmm. You have to be, because the work is very demanding. We study a lot of things, and you need to be challenged academically to get to where we have been or where we are now. And so if you are considering, don't think that because it's 3 years or anything of that sort. There are a lot of academic work that we do out there that we don't tell you or we don't show them, but you need to be academically good. So make sure your WASI results are good. And the other tenet that I want to give to my parents out there, we just don't want any religious. We want religious who come from very good family backgrounds, religious who have stayed home and learned a lot of things whilst they stay with their parent. Because a lot of things come up and then sometimes we need to kind of show them. But we need people who are ready to serve the people of God from the basic family units that they have come from. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, brothers, on that. This morning when I was leaving the house, I met an old friend of mine, an old lady. I told her I was coming to have a discussion with brothers and what they stand for. And she asked me to pose this question to you all. Do brothers marry since they are not ordained?
Yes, yes.
Brother Michael.
Thank you very much, sister. Per what we have already discussed, we discussed last week, and what do you call it? We talked about, because Brother Aristide mentioned about the vows. So per our vows, we don't marry because we take the vow of chastity, which is chastity to be chaste for Christ. So we kind of denounce marriage pleasures, family life. So we are out of marriage. We can't be married because we are not ordained. Per our vow of chastity, it bounds us not to get ourselves involved with the marriage pleasures and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So per our life, we are not allowed to marry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would just put it in the very first words that I put, that we give our lives to God and we give our love to God's people. We give our lives to God and we give our love to God's people. When you are married, you are challenged. Perhaps you might say you might have given your life to Christ. It's okay. But the love is for your wife and your wife alone and your children. You are limited. In religious circles, when we give our lives this way to God, we are given the opportunity, the privilege to express our love not only to one person, but to God's people. And that is what we do through our ministry. That we are able to interact with these people wholeheartedly without any reservation as to who belongs to us or whom we belong to.
Sister, this is a very interesting question. And I would like to share a bit of experience. Sometimes, even Catholics, they don't know why brothers don't marry or why the priests don't marry. When I was studying in Kumasi campus, now Amstead University, I was seated in the lecture hall, and some two Catholic ladies, they were debating among themselves that this young man, I heard he's a brother. That what is the difference between a brother and a priest? So trying to educate the other one, he said, yeah, I know the Catholic brothers, they marry, but the priests don't marry. I tend to say, no, the brothers too, we don't marry. So even Catholics, they don't know. But I ask, if somebody can tell me who was the wife of Jesus Christ on earth here, was Jesus Christ married? No. He gave himself to serve the one who sent him and to do the will of the one who sent him. That is God. He came down to the world for a mission. And the mission is what he carried out by giving out himself completely to the service of the will of the Father. So, brothers, we don't marry. The priests, they don't marry. I'm talking about the brothers here. So, we don't marry simply because we give our whole life. We consecrate our life for the church. Now, just a scenario. Brothers, we live in a community. You can go to a community, you see about 20 brothers, 15 brothers living together. Now, because of our community life, it is not possible for us to live out that marital life, because we are called together to witness. Let me just say, even in our own family background today, where people are living together, everybody wants to have attention for his or her family. And that attention, that love for the family is meant for the married people. We are not denouncing the fact that those who are married are not good people. No, we cherish, it's a vocation. But brothers, we don't marry because we want to give ourselves completely to God. What we are called to do, we are all for the church. And everybody is our child. The brothers, everybody we see is an image of God, and they are our children. Now, a brother is here. I avail myself by the vow of obedience. I avail myself wherever they send me, I go. Assuming I'm married and I'm here with my wife, and then they ask me, go to Europe for ministry, and I am going there, I will not come back to Ghana. That is where I will be. Wherever you find yourself, where there is FIC, is an FIC home. It doesn't matter. You can go outside your country. You will be there. If you die, they will bury you there. So, Am I moving with my wife to that place, or I will leave them here? And if I should leave them here and go, what would be the feeling of the family who takes care of them? In short, it's not that we are running away from responsibility, but it is a laid down rule in the church that by the evangelical council, every Christian baptized will receive this evangelical counsel. But because we are called to deepen this evangelical counsel in a practical way, we denounce ourselves, we avail ourselves, our all and all to the church, to the service. And those who even marry and don't take care of their children, we care for them. Those who even marry and abuse their wife, the religious, we care for them. And that is the brotherhood. The reason why we don't marry. We don't marry, we denounce everything, and we are for everybody. The happiness of every human being on earth.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. And you are all vocation promoters, right?
Yeah.
Fishers of men. Can you share with us some of the challenges you encounter in performing this duty? Brother Mike.
Okay. As we are sharing, when you go to a parish or you go to a place to talk about the brothers, people don't have knowledge about them. So when you talk about it, they become like, what is happening? What is this man talking about? Who are they? You see? So it becomes something else. You have to explain. You have to try to explain yourself. Now, when you are explaining, you have to explain alongside with the priest. Oh, we are not priests. We are not ordained. Because you see, that long explanation that you have to do is really at times is discouraging. It's discouraging.
Yeah.
And you can see also from the people's face, the young men in Ghana here especially, when you talk about brothers, people look at, what did they do? Why should I waste my time to become a brother? I should go and become a priest, and I will not celebrate Mass. It's also at times very, very discouraging and disheartening. It's very, very discouraging and disheartening. But what do you do? And also, there was a time I went to a school in around Kwau there, over the hills there. So I was sharing with them, brothers also, we don't marry. We live the vow of chastity and this kind. So they say, but you are not ordained, can't you marry? So why should I come and be a brother and I will not marry? And I should go and become a priest, no? That is better than becoming a brother, you see. And also when you go to other parishes, priests welcoming you is also a challenge. Sometimes they feel like, what is this man coming to talk about? They are not willing to give you the platform for you to talk. You see, our brother priest, at times, can we tell, oh, I want to come to your parish. Oh, we are busy this week. We are not there. We have a parish, program. We will not be able to host you. Wait, another time. You call again. Oh, I'm not there. We are still busy. You see? So it will be a prolonged thing. And you kind of, as if you are going to do a work that is personal, is your personal thing. But the brothers, we are doing for the church, so for the whole church. Another experience is like if you got a candidate in a parish and you try to visit and you see some priests also discouraging that candidate. Yeah. How can you go to become a brother? Come and join us. You have to become a priest. You see? So when you even go there to talk even to the priest is not ready to give you here, just to listen to you, which is very disheartening. Yeah. It's really a challenge. Becoming a vocation director for brothers it's not easy, but it's by the grace of God that you have reached this far.
You still get some guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say that the life of a brother is not for a faint-hearted person. You need courage in the midst of a priestly dominated vocation, where everyone knows the priest more than who a brother is. And I have encountered a couple of, even my mom will ask, so what do the brothers do? And I would keep saying, just look at how I live my life and then draw your conclusion. So one of the challenges that I have faced during vocation promotion is the parents themselves. That what we have known from Adam is priest and not a brother. And so if I want my child I want to see my child after ordination in a pickup, everyone after him or her. So, that kind of a thing. So it brings us to a kind of a non-conclusion that some parents, their lack of understanding of the brother's vocation influences their children in making a choice. When I wanted to be a brother, I told my parent. My senior sister was there. She asked the question, would you be happy? Would you be happy? And I said yes. And I am forever grateful for that question she asked me. Because anytime I look back, I see, even though I did not understand what she was saying at that time, today I appreciate that question that she asked me. If you were given a life, if all the lives in this world, if all the work that we have, if all the professions that we have were to pay the same amount of money, which profession will you do? The one that will make you happy. And that is what I want to tell the world. That the brother's vocation is a unique one. It is not everyone who can enjoy or who can be part of it. It is for those who are courageous and not the faint-hearted.
Thank you.
Yeah, for me, as a vocation director, I think this is my 12th year in this office. I encountered a lot of challenges, young men trying to descend to become brothers, and the other people discourage them because they don't know much about the brother in the church. I must say another challenge is, the young men, because they grow up in the parish and they see what the priests do, and some parishes, they don't even know who the brother is. So therefore, the desire of becoming the priest is high. So those who come in contact with the brothers and they want to live the life, they still even question. So if I come, what will I be doing? You people don't celebrate Mass. So what do you do? And you have to explain. I am saying this because lack of the knowledge of the brothers or the brotherhood in the church is causing some of the challenges. As a vocation director, I know a young man who was desiring to be an FIC brother. I visit him often. The family knows me. And the last minute, the young man asks, that my mother said something and I am discouraged and I want to change my mind. What is it? That if I become a brother and she dies, that who will celebrate her funeral mass? I said, so since you want, is it that you want to be, so even if you are going to the priesthood, are you going to the priesthood because you want to celebrate Mass for
burial mass for
burial mass for your mother? Brother, it's like that though. I want to be celebrating Mass. And I said the evangelization of the church is not all about celebrating Mass. So I have to scold him. It is sometimes challenging. And as I said, actually, it is not the fault of anybody, but because we are St. Joseph's, they will find it difficult to know until they get close to us. That is what I would just say. But it's sometimes challenging because even, let me put it, some big people put it, that you are not a priest and you are a brother. It's like you are half-baked. So where do you belong? In fact, it's like when they say, like, once you cannot say Mass, you have no mission in the church. And I'm sure this program is educating a lot of people. The brothers we call in the church, the brothers you see, is not all about celebrating Mass. The evangelization in the church is not about celebrating Mass. It is more than that. So, and that is what we want to. So, as a vocation director, there are lots of challenges. Sometimes you also be journeying with a young man, and that is what we are called to be as a vocation director, is to help the young man to discern his vocation. I am not only a vocation director to grab young men to the FIC congregation. No, I'm a vocation promoter to the church. And I must say there are about 10 young men, 10 of them, who were my aspirants and later on changed their minds to become priests. I say, yes, I'm promoting vocation for the church, not for FIC. Some went to other congregations. Another challenge is there are people behind who don't know much about the brotherhood in the church, and they are discouraging young men there. A priest told a young man, if you are going to the missionary congregation to become a priest or a brother, they will send you far away. You will not see. Your mother will die and you will not even be there to see. These are some of the words they say. And sometimes it is discouraging. As a church, we are not brothers in isolation. We still belong to the church. So sometimes when our ministers discourage young men, if you go to these people, this they are international. You will not be a minister to your own people. You're supposed to be a diocesan priest. If you join the missionary priest, you go far away. Some of these were discouraged. And this is a young man who is coming to confine with you to know more about the life. And you are saying this. So with that, you are in it and you are saying it. So sometimes, a number of situations, they discourage young men by this advice. We think we are advising them and sometimes we discourage them. So it is a challenge.
Yeah.
A challenge.
I want to share something about what you just said. There is this vocation promoter who got an aspirant somewhere. They are priests and brothers. And then he went to meet this young man and the parent. And what the parish priest or the priest in charge had told this young man is that, oh, these people, when you join them, East Africa, ho baby, one is and then this guy changed his mind. He joined the minor seminary. He couldn't even survive. You see, so what you are saying is very true. Some parish priests or priests in charge really discourage these young men who want to join the religious life, either religious brother or religious priest. They really discourage them, which is not good. We are all working for the church, and I can for say in some kra epomododo, and I atiasifo. The harvest is great, as we always say, but the laborers are few, and we always pray to the Lord of the harvest to send more laborers into His vineyard. So if He's sending laborers into His vineyard, and you're trying to draw them away. If you are cultivating or planting maize and we are planting rice, you want all the laborers into your maize farm. What happens to the rice? Please, we are all working for the growth of the church. Let's do some congregation representation here, starting with Brother Aaron. In 3 minutes, tell us about your congregation.
Okay. The FIC Brothers. This congregation started in the year 1840 in Maastricht, or Holland. It started by one young priest. This young priest called Monsignor Louis Rutten. The idea of starting this congregation came about the year there was revolution. Parents leave their children looking for their daily bread, and these children are left. Nobody cares for them, no formal education. And he was moved and touched by the Spirit. He gathered these children in a small room, teaching them, giving them formal education. And later on, he realized that he alone cannot do the work. He had to get other people involved. So he went into a retreat and then reflected about it and said, I am going to set up an institution. But the name, I don't know the name I'm going to give them. And gradually, the FIC congregation came to existence to address the needs of the youth, children of the Maastricht in those days. So Monsignor Louis Rutten is the founder of the Brothers FIC. And we have a co-founder. We call it Brother Bernardus. Brother Bernardus is one of the first brother that joined the FIC. There were 3, and along the line, other passed on. He was the only one that survived. So we call him the co-founder. So the congregation started in 1840. And in Ghana here, we came to Ghana in 1965, invited by then late Cardinal Bishop Derry. in the Wa Diocese. So he went to Holland and encountered these brothers and saw their apostolate, their into education. So he invited them to come to Ghana. So when they came to Ghana, the first place they settled is Kaleo in the Upper West region. That is where the FIC brothers, and that is where the St. Joseph brothers were also coming. It was an indigenous congregation, and they absorbed them and trained them as FIC brothers. So in Ghana here, the FIC brothers, we are working in different dioceses, and we are having about 12 communities in Ghana. We are 12 communities. So you can find us in Accra, we are there. Sunyani, we are there. If you come to Upper West, we are there. Many communities. Upper East, we are there. So together we are 12 communities. So generally where you can find us in Ghana here, we are in Sunyani, Tamale, Accra, Bole, Damago, Nandom, Tumu, Zebla in the Upper East region, and then other places in the world. We have 5 countries where we are working. So the FIC, we are old congregation, but our mission, we don't spread much. So we are working in 5 countries. We are in Indonesia, we are in Chile, we are in Malawi, in Ghana here, and then the Netherlands, Holland. These are the 5 countries, the FIC brothers, we are working. So our charism is teaching, formation, and education. And we do a lot in this area. We are teaching. We teach, and because of this, to achieve this mission or goal of the congregation, we establish schools at deprived areas. And one of the schools that made the North proud is the Nandom Senior High. I can mention many people attended that school, and they can testify the impact of the brothers in that place. So basically, this is a brothers FIC in Ghana here, and this is how we started. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Aristide.
When you talk about Holy Cross started with the brothers in 1820, when a French priest by name Jacques Dugerier started gathering young men who could go out into the rural areas of France to teach them. This is the time of the Industrial Revolution, where education, the church was in trouble. Schools, other things belonging to the church had been destroyed, and therefore people living in the rural areas and even in the cities were in limbo. So he called them the St. Joseph Brothers. And the St. Joseph Brothers' life was a life that they will come together as living community. They will discuss what they see in the villages. Then they will go back and teach the young men literacy, arithmetic, and basic things or rudiments of life. When he got old, he invited a friend priest who is called Basil Moreau, who came to gather some priests who were also interested. And he brought the brothers together to form one congregation of Holy Cross. When you say Holy Cross, we are not talking about the cross of Jesus Christ. The place that we were formed in France was called Sainte-Croix, which means Holy Cross. And so they said this is the congregation that comes from Sainte-Croix, where they were started. And so ours is not related to the cross. But what is so interesting is that everything that we do in Holy Cross is about the cross of Jesus Christ, because we anchor our lives in Jesus Christ. And therefore, our, what we call our signal name is Spes Unica Cruz Ave, or Ave Cruz Spes Unica. The cross, our only hope. The cross, our only hope. Now, after being formed in 1820, the combination of the Brothers of Holy Cross with some priests who were auxiliary priests came together to form a congregation. And by 1841, we sent the first missionaries to Algeria in Africa. A French community sending the first missionaries to Africa to begin education. So we stayed in Africa for about 10 years, and because of the difficulties in Africa, they went back. The next place that Holy Cross went was to Bangladesh. The next place Holy Cross went was to Bangladesh. And now we've grown into what we are today with priests, brothers, and sisters. So we have 3 societies in one. In 1957, when Ghana gained independence, 2nd December in the same year of independence, Holy Cross First Brothers arrived in Ghana, and also the re-entry into Africa to take over St. John's School in Sekondi, Takoradi. And so on the 2nd of December 1957, the arrival of Midwest Brothers, who were invited by Archbishop Porter to come and take care of the St. John's School in Takoradi, arrived in the country. And they have been the bane of education within the region which they have found themselves. Later on, Archbishop Kojo Emisa, late, invited the Holy Cross Brothers, some who were already teaching in St. Augustine's, to come and help with the formation of young men in Eminsano, St. Teresa's Minor Seminary. What was the interest of the bishop? The interest of the bishop was that the brothers were doing so well with the St. John's boys that he needed the same kind of formation which was going on in St. John's to form the priest. And so we had some of the brothers becoming rectors at the St. Teresa's Minor Seminary at Eminsano, even though they were not priests. So again, the reason why we were formed is to be able to educate. In Holy Cross we say education of the mind and the heart. The mind will not be cultivated at the expense of the heart. Today, you can find Holy Cross Brothers educating young men, St. John's, St. Augustine's, St. Brother Andre High School, and Holy Cross Technical Institute in Takoradi. You can find our communities in Sekondi. You can find some in Anaji. We are in Cape Coast here. We are also in Sunyani. We are in Nkranza. We are in Tamale and Kaswa. So this is our presence in Cape Coast and the other regions that I've mentioned, trying to reach out to God's people, serving them through our Ministry of Education and other ministries that come along with them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Mike.
So the Maris Brothers were founded by a young priest from France called Maxilin Champagne. His name, when you mention it, is at times people do, is it champagne or what? He's a French priest. And he's a saint now. So he's called Saint Maxilin Champagne, whose feast day is on the 6th of June. Okay. So every 6th June we celebrate him. So he founded the Maris Brothers of the Schools. Our name is Little Brothers of Mary. That's our name. Our actual name that was given to us by our founder. And the congregation was founded in 1817. So per the brother says, it seems we are the oldest.
You are the oldest.
Yes, yeah, we are the oldest. So 1817, that's when the congregation was founded. And he founded this congregation because he was sent to a sick, dying boy. He was dying, called Montaigne, in his parish where he was assigned, called Lavala. So after his encounter with him, trying to talk to him and finding, before giving the last, what they call the viaticum, he found out that the boy don't know anything about God. So now he talked to himself. How many such boys or children don't know much about God? Therefore, I have to find brothers to take care of Christian education, including catechism, teaching of catechism. And that's how Maris Brothers came into being. So our main aim is to teach catechism and Christian education for the deprived children, those on the peripheries. So that's what we basically do. And it was founded in a small town called Laval in France. Those who have been there and those who are familiar with geography. Laval is on the hill country. It's a very small town. That's where we started from. That's where our beginning started. Now in Ghana here, we were called to come to Ghana by Archbishop Sapon Emeritus of Kumasi Archdiocese. He called the brothers to come and help in the Christian education. That was 1983. So currently we are 41 years in Ghana since we came to existence here. And we came to Aswanse, those who know the place. That's where we were, where we started, our beginning started from there. But now we are in different parts of Kumasi and some parts of Ghana. And our main charism is to make Jesus Christ and Mary known. That's why we are called Marist. Marist is from Mary. Yeah. At times when they ask people, there was a time I went for a vocation promotion and somebody, I heard you say marriage brothers. And I said, no, it's Marist from Mary. I said, oh, so as a marriage people, can I join? I said, no, we are not marriage people. So it's Marist brothers from Mary. So Mary is our model. And our founder really gave her to us, to be our mother. So she is our mother. So our charism is to make Jesus Christ and Mary known and loved. And we do that through education, that's Christian education, evangelizing through Christian education in schools, and youth apostolate also. We also do that. Okay. And in Ghana, we are in Kumasi. Kumasi, we are in Bokrom, we are in Kwadaso, Ordino Kwadaso, that's somewhere close to Star Junction. And we are also in Accra, Abelimpe, we are also in Asaraja, around Kaswa there. We are also there. And we are in Ehrin. Ehrin, we have our formation house there. That's where our apostolancy is. And Sabina Krofum, as we are going to Obuasi, on the Obuasi Road, that's where we also have our novitiate. Yeah. But currently in Ghana, the Ghanaian brothers that we have, we are 16 in number, which means almost 41 years now. We are 16. We are trying. We are trying to get more members to join us. But in Africa, we are in many countries. In the world also, almost around 81 countries in the world, where we are ministering through education and the catechism. So that's basically who we are, Marist Brothers.
Yeah. Thank you very much, brothers, for that education. We are far behind time. It's been an interesting and long evening, but we cannot leave without promoting vocation. In 30 seconds, brothers, convince someone why he should join your congregation. Then you include your contacts. Brother Aaron.
Okay. Young men out there, I think FIC Brothers Congregation is a congregation called to come and serve God. So if you are interested, you can contact me or any community I mentioned earlier on in Ghana here, Brothers Community. Or if you want to talk with me, the vocation director, you can reach out to me for this number, 054 080 6498. 054 080 6498. Just give me a call and we'll start your discernment there.
Brother Aristide.
Yo. Hey. What's some kind of fancy? I branch here na epede as a one whom Yankopon na non kofo na etre aze na as a one san juma ana bibiara Yankopon za ma wa ebotum za aboa Yankopon number wa obroserido na etum agi akra ezama hona ye Holy Cross Brothers. Bibia ewo biara ebetum afrem wo 0244 149054 na yezin komo na ya hwe kwana emi na owo yebetum ya atwe akra yezama Yankopon na yama Yankopon nizin waye kase na ejuma so wa atre.
If you're a young man and you have love for Mary as Marist, we have Mary as our mother. I'll encourage you to join us and also to educate using the Marian virtues, humility, modesty, and simplicity. I encourage you to come and join us, the Marist Brothers of the schools. And if you want to contact me, we are on Facebook. That's Marist Vocations, Ghana. You can check us there, or you can call me on 0530 03 6447. 053 003 6447. And we're ready to welcome you to join us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, brothers. In fact, I would like to appreciate the efforts of my 3 brothers here. Some traveled from afar. Some had to forfeit their lectures to be here to make this conversation as interesting as you have experienced. And so we cannot thank you enough. On behalf of my viewers and the whole Cafdil team, including our executive director, we'd like to thank you in a very special way for making time to join us for 2 weeks to make this education known to our fellow Catholics and non-Catholics who know nothing or less about the Brotherhood Vocation. So I did this together with Brother Michael, a Marist brother, Brother Aristide, a Holy Cross brother, and Brother Aaron, Brother FIC. We did this discussion together. If you missed the beginning or the previous edition of this program, you can always visit our Facebook account or platform on Facebook, Cafdil Cape Coast, and then YouTube, Cafdil Edu. When you do visit these platforms, kindly share and leave a comment you like as well. We, Friars Valley Mineral Water came to support us, something to refresh our throats during this conversation. You already have the numbers on your screens. Contact them for this tasty water. I am Sister Marian. I was your host. So we come your way again next week. May God bless us all.